So, hello everyone. Today we will try to understand the concept of zone of satisfaction. Zone of satisfaction. So, the application of this zone of satisfaction is very broad in nature. It might be applicable for an individual nuclear family, for a joint family, and it can be applicable for any organization, institution, or any other sort of and business establishment. Okay, let's actually start with the concept of a family. Okay, considering there is a particular family. In this family we have okay, the father, mother, and so we have a C1 child and C2 another child. So alternatively there is a maid. Okay, now the concept of zone of satisfaction is telling that so there is no unity and integrity between each other. For instance, the zone of satisfaction of parents is different from zone of satisfaction of children's. So similarly, the zone of satisfactions of maid is different from that of both the family and children's. So I will try to broaden the explanation of zone of satisfaction through different dimension. For instance, the satisfaction of zone of children is actually uh, different from that of a maid. The satisfaction zone of children C1. Consider the following. So suppose the child C1 wants to go to the school. So the preference of the child is through going from bike, whereas the preference of the maid to come to her workplace is either by walk or through bus transportation. I mean, the satisfaction zone of children and maid is different. For instance, we will take one more very raw and elementary example. Suppose there is a person called Rajendra. So he wants to travel from point P1 or a place P1 to place P2, and for this what he will do is he hires a auto rickshaw. Okay, he hires a auto rickshaw, and so through this auto rickshaw he wants to go through this place P2. Now the mindset of Rajendra is different from the mindset of auto person. So similarly, as a consequence of that, the zone of satisfaction of Rajendra is different and the zone of satisfaction of auto wala person is different. Now what will happen? I will just try to explain you this through some particular conflict between Rajendra and auto. See, Rajendra hires a auto and he agrees to pay 500 rupees from point P1 to P2. So what happens? In between, the auto develops some problem and it stops there. Now Rajendra is asking for a fare. He is applying the fare principle. Okay, he is telling, so I have traveled till here, so according to this I will just pay 100 rupees for you. Now the auto person is telling, no, I have talked you 300 rupees and I will arrange some another auto from here, so that you have to pay me all the 300 and I will pay through to this auto wala whatever I want to pay to him. Now Rajendra develops an argument. Now in simple terms, whether how to solve this conflict, either through request or through demand or through argument. Okay, now in such a kind of conflict, so what kind of solution is best out of them? Request, demand, and argument. See, request has a component of emotions. You know, emotions are more valuable in conflict resolution, whereas demand and argument, so there is not called a win-win situation. So one person may lose and another person may win. One person may lose and another, and after all there is something called regret. So we regret afterwards what happened, what should not have been happened. So now my point here is, so one should be very fair and very intelligent enough to identify the zone of satisfaction of any particular person. For example, if Rajendra is very intelligent to identify the zone of satisfaction of auto person, so he should not develop an argument there. What he should actually do is, he should try to understand the zone of satisfaction of the person and try to immediately compensate. Okay, and also the principle of this compensation is works upon the proportionality, meaning you do not need to actually lose everything to compensate. So you don't need to lose everything to compensate. Simply put, what you can do is, so you need to come to an understanding. Okay, to solve the problem you come to an understanding. Okay, I am giving just 150, let me put another 30 and make it 180. So and this should be through request alone, nothing much. Okay, similarly, it's not only restricted to the traveling or a journey or auto person. The same concept actually applies through all the organizations. So the employer is there, so he will immediately, he is very intelligent enough to understand the zone of satisfaction of his particular employee E1, E2 and E3. So based on that, he calculates the zone of satisfaction of these people and he introduced something called bonus. Okay, he introduced something called bonuses, overtime, task, appreciation. So everything is there. Usually remand actually doesn't work. Remand, demand, argument, so these are obsolete method of conflict resolution. So I hope you guys have got somewhat clarity about the zone of satisfaction, and this zone of satisfaction is applicable in almost all the organization. In simple words, I want to tell you, zone of satisfaction is something, it deals with the thinking process of person 1 and person 2. If you are not able to integrate between A1 and A2, the simple way here is you need to compensate and you come to an understanding and close the deal. I hope you have got little bit clarity. So thank you very much for your time. I will come with such kinds of videos. Do let me know if some changes are required in my way of presentation. Thank you very much.